So the first thing I do when I make those patterns is to make it on a normal paper, A4 letter size, in 1 to 10. And then after that I transfer that to my pattern paper. So first thing is to find and mark the height, the full length of the Serk. The Serk has no shoulder seam, so you mark the double and then you mark the shoulder line, so you have something to work out from there. The next thing to mark is the breast width. And because this model is with sleeve with a gusset under, you don't need extra width than your exact breast width, unless your stomach is bigger than your breast. Then you take your stomach size. It goes for men as well in shirts, of course. This model you can use for shirts too, just make it a little shorter maybe. So that was the length and the width. And the next thing you measure is the length from the shoulder line to your waistline, because that's where the gusset or godet are added, that point in the side. And you know the Vikings were weaving only the fabric width they needed. It's much faster to weave 60-70 centimeters width instead of the double we use in a warp-weighted loom. So everything I design is designed out from that width. And if I should weave a fabric for myself to a sack, I would weave it in the width of my breast width plus the bottom width of the godet. And it had to be all the way around, it had to be 140. So it makes it easy to walk. And I think that goes for everybody. You can make it bigger, but don't do it smaller, then you will walk like a Chinese something. As you can see here on the drawing, the godet in the one side, in the left side maybe, is cut together with the body. So it looks asymmetrical. So to get the other godet, you cut that out in the space between, like this. And then you turn them around and sew them on. But I will tell you about that when we are going to put it all together. So now the body and the godet are in place. Then we can do the neckline. The best way to find the right size on the neckline is always to make it too small first, or to measure another dress that you really like and just use exactly those measurements. In this one, I'll make a neckline with a keyhole that is found so many places. So here I have the width and the depth that suits my customer. The next thing is the sleeve, and to find out how wide the sleeve should be on the top, you measure from your shoulder down to your nipples, or 2 centimeters above, or about your nipple height, and you mark that. The double of that will be your width on the top of the sleeve, including the little gusset under the arm side. And then you have your underarm and your wrist. And of course your full length of the sleeve. And to measure that length on your arm, you measure from the center back in your neck, over the shoulder, over the elbow with that a little bend, and then passing your knuckle on the wrist. Then you have the complete length. Then you draw the half breast width from it. Then you have the length of your sleeve. So first you draw the bottom of the sleeve, the waistline, and that had to be your width, the width of your forearm, because you need to be able to pull up the sleeves up to your, almost up to your elbows if you shall work with it, or else it'll be super annoying. So I use that as my elbow measurement, but check it with that. It has to be at least that. The elbow width is a couple of centimeters, 3 centimeters bigger than the biceps. So you have that as well. And then from the corner of the wrist line, you make a line where you pass the elbow line and all the way up to the length of your arm. Most of the time, what you end up in the top is smaller than what you wanted as your measurement on the top of the sleeve, which is good, because then you add the little square gusset, which makes everything much, much easier to move in. This little thing gives a lot of movement in the dress. In this case, I will need 5 centimeters in the width, so I make the square 5 by 5 centimeters. It could be 10 by 10. It depending completely on how thin you are on your underarm and your wish of your top part. So now you actually have the whole pattern for your sack. You do it exactly the same way when you do the shirt for men or women. So now you have all the measurements and you can transfer it to your paper, for your pattern paper.